All right, here we go. Technical difficulties averted. Well, seems like what God's been saying to me, well, not just me, but I don't know what he says to everybody else unless they say it, is all the crap, all the games, all the yeah, just the crap, the two-faced garbage. It's all gonna end. Like, I mean, you know, you can go to church, obviously, and find people that are just not the same person they are at home. We can say it that way. And that kind of thing, that's God's bringing that stuff down now. Who we really are on the inside, that's what's coming out. That's what people are going to see. That's what we're not going to be able to hide from anymore. God help me out with this. So for us, especially with a relationship with God, man, transparency is just important. Why you want to pull any punches about who you are if God's just fixing you, if He's making you better? What do you have to hide that He's already worked on? I mean, we've all got something we might want to hide for a little while we let God do His thing with us. God forbid you guys find out everything that's wrong with me. Where we can draw the line with that is is that in the queue for God to work on us? I mean, is that something we're going to let God deal with us with, or is that just off limits? We have quarantined it from God. Those are the things I'm talking about. That's just going to blow up in our face, individual face, if we're hiding something from God, man. That if what God wants is people that know Him, the Bible says a pure and spotless bride, meaning no lies, no games, no ulterior motives, nothing, just love, real love. You love neighbor, you love your neighbor as yourself. You'd be a lot more generous with your neighbor. We'll say it that way and leave it alone. But like I said, I'm not talking about the subconscious stuff, the things that we just haven't dealt with yet. That's not it. I'm talking about the stuff that we're consciously hiding from ourselves, from God, from whoever. That kind of thing, that's got to go if we're actually going to try and be ministers for the Lord. We can't have double-mindedness, ulterior motives, any kind of, well, double thoughts, double speech, any kind of deception like that, deceit. God's trying to hold us to a lot higher standard, a lot higher standard. And it's up to us if we want to get to it or not. And we should probably know that it's going to cost us. That's all those references in the Bible about denying yourself and taking up your cross. That's not just something to talk about on Sunday mornings. You may as well know. But it's just when a relationship with God just becomes a part of you, when it's something that just permeates your heart. It's not something you hide. It's just a part of you, and people notice it, whether it's whether they're conscious of it or not. It's God, like a breath of fresh air. Here soon, I got a chance to get up in front of a bunch of people and talk. And it's a lot different than something like this. A lot different. With something like this, I just kind of got to the point where it's like, God, I'm going to sit down and turn the camera on, and we'll see. I'm going to do my best to keep pace with you. Sometimes I do pretty good, and sometimes I bomb. This one, this one hits a lot closer to home. So I've been bothering God for a long, long time now. Well, I guess it feels like a long time. It's only been maybe 2 weeks about about what to say, and it's like talking to a brick wall because it doesn't really matter. And it's like, God, I sure would like to know what I'm gonna say, please. 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 Every time it's like talking to a brick wall. So finally I just started to resign to the fact that I'm just not going to know, at least not for a good long while. Even if it means just getting up there and opening my mouth and letting come what may, I'm going to do my best to follow God and share His mind and share His heart, even if I don't know what exactly that entails right now. I'm really going to try. Sometimes situations like that, ignorance, it really is bliss, lest I start making it all religious and formulated and premeditated and rehearsed. I guess that's one reason I like just getting on here and just bleh, just letting it go. I was kind of nervous about that for a while, about talking, but then I just kind of came to the end of it yesterday, I think. I was just driving home from work, just thinking about it. I just kind of mull stuff over just about all the time. I was thinking about that. I just, you ever polish rocks? You just keep rolling it over and rolling it and rolling it and rolling it. I was just doing that. And then finally, I just, was just playing out the scenario in my head. And I said, man, I can get up there and draw a complete blank, fumble my way through a couple minutes of just babbling and sit down. Most of those people I'm never going to see again. What do I have to worry about, really? I mean, I'm getting up there. I'm trying to do it for God. So how much ownership should I be taking in it? It's a valid question. I guess the answer to that is determined by how much pride I'm still fueled by. Not the direction I was planning on going. Which goes back to me not wanting to be rehearsed or premeditated or religious. There's going to be, there's going to be situations for all of us. Let's put it this way, where we are all going to be tried. Well, less biblically, we're going to find out what we're made of. How? It's going to be something catered specifically for you. Isn't that thoughtful? How's it going to come? It's going to come under the radar. You're going to be looking this direction over here, and then it's just going to come punch you in the spine, give you a kidney shot from the back. Whatever the situation is, like I said, it's different for everybody. I know what mine is. To be honest, I'm not real thrilled about it. But how else you find out what you're made of? So, this is the time. Somebody else here recently was talking about how we need to bring our friends and families close and keep them in prayer and in the canopy of God, or I forget what all was said. And some people I talked with got a little scared about it, wasn't quite sure what to make of it. Just kind of like their mind just went straight to the worst. And that's not what these kind of things, that's not what it's about. It's about awareness. Just, hey, I told you, now you know. Just don't forget. So you may as well know, if you're being fake, you're going to stop being fake whether you want to or not. If you got to understand where grace is in this. Grace, God's grace, is that patience, that forgiveness, that understanding, the sympathy for how pathetic I really am when I'm just trying to deal with something and I don't know how, and I just keep screwing up and keep screwing up and keep screwing up. But I keep going back to God about it. It's like, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to change. I don't know where to start. But I want to. What do I do? And then God's like, hey, just deep breath, count backwards from 5, real slow, deep breath every single time. Just stop and collect yourself, and then we're going to go from here. I'll pick you up. We'll take another step forward, see how far you get this time. That is the grace of God. The grace of my parents was me surviving from junior high to adulthood. Does that bring it close enough to home? Them putting up with how stupid teenage years are on people. That was grace and mercy in action. But that's what God's trying to do with us. He knows we're trying to grow up, and He's trying to help us. We just got to keep coming back to the point where He can help us. Now, if we run away from God, how much help do we expect Him to be? And it'd be asinine to just run all the way away from God, and then something bad happens, and then we chew God out like it's His fault because we're that far away. Grow up. So, all that being said, I think there's been an emphasis on forgiveness here recently too, which, it's all part of transparency. Dude, I gotta tell you, I've been talking probably close to, I don't know, a year and a half about some coworkers I got some issues with, and I have matured to the point where I can work around them and not lose my temper. Progress, huh? It's got to go deeper than that. Of course, I haven't tried to pull any punches about how I feel about them, so at least I got that going for me, which is one reason I got in trouble at work last week. But that's all said and done. I think it's water under the bridge now. Huh. But especially this time right now, God is getting things in order to lay the smackdown on the church. That's It's just how it is. There's going to be sheep and there's going to be goats. Where's your heart at with it? That's what you're supposed to examine. That's what you got to check. That's what you take inventory in with God. That's the part where you decide you want less of yourself and more of God. And that's where you find the grace of God. And that's where you grow up. But there's a purging coming. And if you got something to hide, may as well let it out. Just get with God. Sometimes, especially when I just have a hard time staying focused, keeping my train of thought going forward, I'll just sit down and start writing. I'll just put my headphones in, listen to some music, and just write and write and write and write. Just dump it all out to God. You may as well just start somewhere like that. Even if you don't know what the next step is, how important is that if you never take step one? Well, I like having a plan in place, dude. I do too. But when it comes to just your pride getting everything all laid out in front of it, so then it can assess the situation. God's going to give you the old heave ho on that. You're going to be the one talking to a brick wall. It's important to just have your heart in the right place with God, not hiding anything from Him. I mean, yeah, dude, let's get this straight. There's things that stay between me and God just because they're nobody else's business. I'm not talking about just going and telling everybody you're, showing them all the skeletons in your closet and whatever. But it starts with God. It always starts with God. Go figure. But this kind of thing, being, hearing about friends and family, and them being uh, attacked by the devil, or whatever, however you want to say it. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. So if you start feeling scared, just get with God about it. It's not like He's not right there waiting to talk to you anyway. Sometimes it seems like He doesn't stop talking. But examine yourself for interior motives. No, sorry, ulterior motives. And just hypocrisy in general. What kind of standards are you setting for yourself? What kind are you setting for other people? What are your expectations for yourself and for other people? How are they different? Why are yours so much more lax than the standards you have for other people? God will be sure to ask you that one day too. So you may as well get it straight now while you can still get on the good side of it. And this is a good kind of time for communion. Remembering Jesus, all of that stuff that He had to deal with. Man, I haven't been able to escape the Gospels for like a month at least. I don't know. It's just I've had a terrible bearing on time for like the last 2.5, 3 months. Just because I got so focused, and then all of a sudden 1 month was gone. I said, "Well, crap." So I've been trying to get back into it. But this is an important thing to keep in mind. Yeah, God is waiting for a clean church, not this crap that talks about emotional extortion and embezzlement, and talking about how you need to give to church. Or lying to you. Whether because they believe it or not, they're not really reading the Bible. That's just, there's going to be hard truths to have to confront and deal with. But when you got God, it would be like if I was supposed to just run the plumbing in a brand new house. I don't know jack about plumbing. Well, I might know jack, but not much. And then you get this journeyman, this artisan plumber, just comes up alongside. It's like, oh, dude, this is ranch style house, one level. This is cake. We got this. That is basically what God's going to be doing with us through this next season. So what if we feel lost? He's the one right there breaking it all down for you, step by step. But you got to let him, and you got to give him an opportunity. And sometimes that means getting a little uncomfortable with yourself and dumping the crap in you that you have so identified with for the last 5, 10, 30, 40 years. What God wants to do is get rid of the stuff in you that's not him and replace it with stuff that he wants in you. Pieces of him. There's probably a country song about that. So, it's like God's trying to pick leeches or ticks off of people, and then we're fighting to keep these leeches on us. Yeah, it's not going to be a pleasant thing to remove them, but, dude, if you saw how gross that crap was, especially compared to what God wants to do with you, it'd be a whole different story. And if you keep harassing God about seeing step 1 through step ending, the last step, you're not going to get far. That's just your pride talking, trying to leverage God into answering you like he owes you something. God's got some rules that just don't bend. He doesn't cater to pride. If you can't hear him, you might do a double check on your pride and see where you're at. This kind of thing. I hate calling them seasons just because that's what church people call them, but I don't know what else to refer to these times as. So, we'll just have to compromise for now and say this is a season of finding out what you're made of. And that means ugly things happening. You finding the end of yourself. That's how you see what you've really got inside. If you think I'm saying this just to you, not at all. There's things God's been talking to me about for quite a while that I have just, dude, I felt like I was drowning when he first started talking to me about it. I didn't know what to do. Didn't know what to do. And then I started finding out how to get my bearings and how to just function, how to cope. And now it's a matter of finding out what I'm made of. I'm not saying this is any kind of exclusion to that, man. You got to keep in mind here. There's it's easy to put somebody with a voice on a podium, especially if your only familiarity with the person is through something like this, where somebody like me just gets up and runs off at the mouth for 30, 45, 60 minutes, and then that's it. That's the only way you know a person. If they are deliberately trying to separate themselves from you, why Are you listening to him? Jesus made a point of sticking up for the little guy. I mean, like the woman at the well. He was talking to her about the living water, and she's like, "Oh, where do I get this?" And Jesus like, "Well, go get your husband." And she's like, I'm not married." And he's like, "That's right, you whore." No, that was a contemporary English version, I think. He's like, "No, you've had 5 guys here, and then the dude you're with now, you're just enjoying yourself. But here is truth. Here is love." He stuck up for those kind of people. Church people would bring somebody in that they'd want to condemn to him, thinking he'd condemn them too. And all he would do is point out the sins of these other people doing the condemning. Jesus always stuck up for the little guy. He'd go into the temple and purge it, and then let the broken people come in so they could find God. Jesus was pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. He rise up a long time before day just to spend time with God, and then spend the rest of the day praying for thousands and thousands of people, and then trying to teach them in the meantime. I am not there yet. But this is a good time to really, really find your place within God's grace. That's what's going to keep you safe. Really, especially as we're learning how to grow up and how to mature. That grace, that's what keeps the devil on a leash in our lives. But we can't keep lying to ourselves and thinking that God's got our back. People the same last year, the same 6 months ago that they are now, what are they expecting to get from God besides the same answer that they got 6 months ago about how to grow up? And then they're going to keep getting in the same prayer lines and keep crying the same cries for the same reasons, just because they're so handicapped, and it's self-inflicted, and they got nobody to blame but themselves. And when they meet Jesus face to face and they got no lies to hide behind, they're surrounded by truth. They're not going to be able to escape it then either. Those kind of people, man, that kind of garbage, that's what's getting wrapped up. That is what's coming to an end. If you want to play church, you can do it in a church that doesn't honor God. But don't waste God's time, and don't waste people's time that are trying to find God just because you think you're okay. I got this thing about emotional Christians. I mean, dude, don't get me wrong, we're all emotional when we start. Dude, I was about as broken as you could come. Then God started rebuilding me, and here we are. And with him, man, I still just kind of... I was at work this morning, and I just kind of started getting lost. I was just listening to the Bible and just doing my thing at work. I just started getting lost in him, and then I kind of felt myself start coming unglued a little bit just because I was getting so comfortable with him. I had to just give myself a slap, wake up, come back to reality. And he keeps reminding me, quite a while back, probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, we got a break room at work, but I don't like using it because that's where other people take a break, and then like if they're just sitting there and then you come in and sit down, they think you want to have a conversation, and I don't. So I just go somewhere else and just sit and mind my own business. And there was one day, man, I was just sitting there thinking, thinking. I may have been just writing some thoughts down. And I like to stay aware of my surroundings, the sounds, just kind of people coming and going. But it was like there was just this, I was in this bubble. Like if I wanted to, I could pop it, go back to listening to the sounds, being more aware of everything that was going on. But it was like I was just surrounded by God, by the presence of God. It was so cool. And it lasted for about 2 minutes and then it was gone. I don't know how to get it back yet. Still working on that. But that's one of those sneak peek kind of things where God's like, hey, you got more to look forward to here, kiddo. So don't stop. I still, when I hear other people talk about God and things that God says to them, and these people are talking like, well, and I was just complaining to him about this and that, and then he just stops me. He's like, son, it's okay. I still get kind of up in arms when I hear other people say that God calls them son. You get all defensive, like, no, he calls me son. You shut your mouth. Huh. Well, we're all somewhere on this walk, huh? Important thing to know through all this is that God is always within earshot, within arm's reach, and He's always got your best interest in mind. Always, 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 always. So let things come that push you to your breaking point. It's still your choice to break or not. Let things come that just seem like they're pinching a nerve on your emotions, on your patience. It's just like your entire soul. You just want to do something. If you could reach out and punch this issue, just like take one of those spiked baseball bats to it, you would. Let those things come. Find out that God's got a whole lot more than those situations. And we could all one by one give our testimony and somehow think that gives us credibility in our religious resume, our spiritual resume. It doesn't. Is God in what you say? Is He not? That's all the resume I need to see. I can tell by your words if your heart's pure or not. What else do I need to look at? I don't care what you came out of. If you got some extra mileage on your face, I might be able to tell. The past is the past. Let it stay there. Find God. Simple as that. Simple as that. And He's not the one that's lying in wait to throw rocks at you, to point the finger at you. He's the one trying to cover you up, trying to keep you safe, trying to make you feel secure, make you feel protected. When you feel those times, that is Him. That's God trying to reach out to you. Make sure you know you have a safe place with Him. And you may as well find out what it is, where it is, and how to get there. Because we're all going to be having our mettle tested. We're going to find out what we're made of. The ones that don't really know God, let them fall to the wayside. It was their choice the entire time. A lot of them, they have had all kinds of time to appropriate what they needed to get by. They didn't. They took their fellow Christians for granted. They took God for granted. They took their opportunities for granted. Let them fall. Let them break. Let them come undone. God's going to be back there with them. He's probably got other things for you to deal with than worrying about these people that brought things on themselves. Like the ones that are just, maybe they didn't know better. People like that. People that seem like a burden to society. You know how those are the ones Jesus chilled with? He didn't have a problem hanging out with the scum of society at all. He didn't have a problem fraternizing with them. He didn't consider his reputation. He'd go chill with these hookers, and then they'd just find God because of him, because he'd treat them like people. And he had things that they were not getting anywhere else. That's the kind of God that's in the Bible. Not this arbitrary, mysterious, angry, hateful, petty, judgmental prick. That is not God. That's pride, that's religion. That's a monster. My God, man, he's trying to watch out for us. And the stuff that falls on us, he'll always take us right back to where it became our fault. He's like, hey, here, here, and here. I tried to warn you. What now, boss? And we're like, but, okay. And we can either be humble about it and be like, hey, God, I screwed up. Or we can just keep choking on our pride. Wonder why we're not getting anywhere in life, getting anywhere with God, getting anywhere with people. Why we're the same every single day after day after day after month after year. God's got bigger things in mind than just making Christians feel good about themselves. He's trying to get people to know who he really is. And if you want to keep playing games, go for it. But shove off and do it somewhere else. I don't know why I don't have more friends. Anyway, we're never in this alone. Never ever. Even if it comes down to just you and just God. We still know Jesus was an investment in this earth. He knows what it's like. All of it. Jesus was God's stake into the planet. We got nothing that's unique to us. No struggle, no emotional dependency, nothing. So if he knows what it's like, if we know that he can sympathize with us, why are we trying to hide anything from him? Seems like a fair enough question to find the answer to. So anyway, the religious attendance is going to fluctuate. Let it happen. These people that are playing games, they're going to fall apart. They finally had to face themselves and they didn't like it. Good. Maybe now the whole church can start moving forward again, instead of just playing games and playing games and playing games and making sure you know you're okay because God loves you and you're okay. Church, is supposed to be introducing other people to God collectively, building something with each other, and bringing other people into that, including them, letting them help build this thing. But it's just not that right now. But it's going to be soon. So, hope we all know this ain't something to be scared of at all. You just find God, and He will beat the life out of anything that tries to come take you out. As long as you can find yourself with Him, you're in good hands. So, be cool. Don't forget, God is not above your lowest point. Don't ever forget that. But just let God keep bringing that lowest point up. He knows where He's got to start with you, probably better than you do. He wants to do a whole lot more good than a lot of us realize. But we're so busy focused on this narrow scope of what we can see that we limit Him, we limit ourselves, and then we wonder why we can't get more done with Him. But He's not afraid of digging in the mud for you. You may as well know that. So, hope you guys know I love you. Really hope you know that, especially after this. I hope you know I am just trying to watch out for the ultimate best interest of everybody. If that means shooting straight with people that don't want to be shot straight with. Oh, that reminds me. It's kind of a crappy situation, but whatever. This one of my best friends, just one of those lifelong friends, he ended up getting into a really, really, really crappy situation just because of religion, because he had to accommodate religion. So he ended up marrying this chick he was shacked up with, and then it turns out she was insane. And then they moved back up to his motherland, and I didn't find out about it until quite a while later. So I get a hold of him, and I'm just kind of playing stupid. We're just chatting. He's like, yeah, move back up here. I said, hey, did you guys just do that so your wife can be closer to all her boyfriends? No, it's not. We straightened that out. It's not like that at all. You sure? Yeah. I made my point. Things are good now. All right, dude. 18 months later, maybe even less than that. Guess what happened? This ain't about a pat on the back for me. It's about having the stones just shoot straight with people. Man, if they want to get upset about it, where's your heart at with God? Are you trying to just watch out for their best interest? Yeah, you might be wrong a time or two. Deal with it and learn from it so you can do better next time. I don't even know how many times I've been wrong. But people need the truth, and the truth ain't always pretty. It's a mirror. So, we can let God beautify what's in that mirror, but it's still up to us to put that mirror there. That doesn't mean running around condemning and judging and being just a complete tool in the name of God. If God tells you to say something, have the stones to say it. Simple as that. Alright. Now, much fun as I'm having, I can't think of have anything else to say. So, till next time, I guess. All right. Peace.